1999 is a gritty, dark satire directed by David Fincher, based on Chuck Palahniuk's novel. It stars Edward Norton as the unnamed protagonist, a disillusioned office worker who forms an underground fight club with the charismatic Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. The film explores themes of consumerism, identity, and masculinity, all wrapped in a psychological, twist-filled narrative. One of the most striking aspects of Fight Club is its visual style. Fincher's direction is sharp, with a dark, gritty aesthetic that fits the film's tone perfectly. The film also boasts some unforgettable performances, especially from Pitt, who delivers a magnetic portrayal of the anarchistic Tyler Durden. Norton's internal conflict and descent into chaos are gripping and full of nuance. The dialogue is sharp and full of biting commentary, from the famous "you are not your job" line to the dissection of modern society's obsession with materialism. The film's unpredictable twists, including its mind-bending final reveal, keep viewers on their toes, sparking a deeper reflection on the nature of reality and personal identity. Fight Club became a cultural phenomenon, with its themes resonating with audiences and its quotes etched into popular culture. It's a film that explores the complexity of human psychology, the dangers of toxic masculinity, and the search for meaning in a world dominated by consumerism. The film's impact has only grown over time, and it's become a staple for fans of psychological thrillers and dark, introspective cinema. If you haven't seen it yet, it's definitely a must-watch for anyone interested in exploring the darker side of human nature, and for those who appreciate films that ask big, challenging questions. Directed by Terry Gilliam, 12 Monkeys is a mind-bending, dystopian sci-fi thriller that blurs the line between reality and insanity. The film stars Bruce Willis as James Cole, a convict sent back in time from a devastated future to prevent a deadly virus outbreak that wipes out most of humanity. The film's central mystery revolves around the 12 Monkeys, a group blamed for releasing the virus, but Cole soon discovers that things are not as straightforward as they seem. 12 Monkeys is a visually striking film, in typical Terry Gilliam fashion, with its surreal and often chaotic imagery. The narrative jumps back and forth between time periods, creating a sense of disorientation that mirrors the protagonist's fractured state of mind. The film plays with the idea of memory and perception, keeping viewers guessing about what's real and what's imagined. Bruce Willis is outstanding in a role that's far from his typical action hero. His portrayal of Cole is filled with a sense of desperation and confusion, and he effectively conveys the character's struggle to make sense of his mission and his sanity. Alongside Willis, Madeline Stowe plays Dr. Catherine Rayleigh, a psychiatrist who becomes entangled in Cole's quest, and Brad Pitt steals the show as Jeffrey Goins, a mentally unstable activist whose wild energy brings an unexpected and memorable layer to the story. Pitt's performance earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and it's easy to see why. His portrayal is eccentric, off the wall, and downright unsettling. The film's plot, which keeps twisting and turning, offers a deep dive into questions of free will, fate, and the nature of time travel. As Cole struggles to piece together the truth, the film takes us through a labyrinth of conspiracies, paradoxes, and twisted characters, building to a chillingly ambiguous conclusion. It's a film that leaves a lot of room for interpretation and discussion, with each watch revealing new layers to the narrative. The film's central theme is one of inevitability. Can one person change the future, or are we all simply bound by fate? The film also tackles the fragility of the human mind, and how our perception of reality can be influenced by trauma, mental illness, and the passage of time. 12 Monkeys may not be for everyone. It's complex, and its non-linear storytelling can be challenging to follow at times. But for fans of mind-bending sci-fi and psychological thrillers, it's a must-watch. Its mix of dark humor, tension, and philosophical questions about time, memory, and human nature make it a standout in the genre. It's a film that doesn't just entertain, but also makes you think long after it's over. Whether you're a fan of time travel stories or just enjoy films that push the boundaries of conventional storytelling, 12 Monkeys is a fascinating, unforgettable experience. Interview with the Vampire, 1994, is a gothic horror film directed by Neil Jordan based on Anne Rice's best-selling novel. It centers on the life of Louis de Pointe-du-Lac, a vampire, as he recounts his centuries-long existence to a modern-day journalist, played by Christian Slater. As Louis tells his story, we dive deep into the sorrowful and tragic experiences he has as an immortal, focusing on his relationships with other vampires, particularly the enigmatic and seductive Lestat and a young girl named Claudia, who is turned into a vampire at a very young age. The film opens with Louis, who became a vampire in the 18th century, narrating his story to a journalist. Louis's transformation into a vampire comes after the death of his wife and child. Lestat, played by Tom Cruise, the vampire who turns him, is charismatic, manipulative, and dangerous, in stark contrast to Louis' more reluctant and tormented nature. Their dynamic is central to the movie, with Lestat constantly pushing Louis to embrace the vampire lifestyle, while Louis is tormented by his conscience. The theme of immortality and the curse of living forever is explored heavily in Interview with the Vampire. It presents immortality as both a gift and a curse, something that offers endless experience but comes with unbearable loneliness, guilt, and the loss of humanity. The character of Louis, in particular, struggles with the idea of feeding on human blood and the moral consequences of his actions. In contrast, Lestat revels in the power and freedom that comes with being a vampire. The introduction of Claudia, played by Kirsten Dunst, a girl who is turned into a vampire and forced to live in a child's body forever, adds another layer to the film's exploration of immortality. Her character is a poignant and tragic figure, trapped in a child's body with the mind and emotions of an adult. Over the course of the movie, Claudia becomes more resentful of her condition and her dependence on Lestat and Louis for survival. Kirsten Dunst's performance as Claudia is nothing short of remarkable, especially considering her young age at the time. Brad Pitt, who plays Louis, delivers a nuanced performance that captures the character's internal struggle. He expertly portrays the tortured soul who is both repelled and fascinated by his condition. His role in Interview with the Vampire cemented his place as one of Hollywood's leading men. Tom Cruise, on the other hand, completely transforms himself into the charismatic and unpredictable Lestat. His performance is one of the film's highlights, offering a sense of danger and excitement that contrasts with the brooding melancholy of Louis. Cruise's portrayal was somewhat controversial at the time, as he was not initially seen as a natural fit for the role, but he ultimately delivered a standout performance. Kirsten Dunst's career was also greatly influenced by her performance in Interview with the Vampire, which led to her breakthrough roles in movies like Jumanji, 1995, and Bring It On, 2000. Her portrayal of Claudia remains one of her most memorable performances to this day. The themes of Interview with the Vampire are deeply rooted in ideas of mortality, loneliness, the struggle between good and evil, and the complexities of immortality. The film does not glorify being a vampire, but rather paints it as a cursed existence, filled with an endless search for meaning and purpose. The movie explores the emotional and psychological toll of immortality and how different characters cope with the burden in various ways. Louis' internal battle contrasts with Lestat's carefree and often destructive approach to their condition. And Claudia's torment creates a fascinating dynamic of emotional pain throughout the film. Similar to other vampire films of the era, such as Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992, Interview with the Vampire blends gothic horror with deep psychological themes. It shares with Dracula an exploration of the sensuality and danger associated with vampires, but it takes a more introspective approach, focusing on the emotional and philosophical side of immortality. In terms of visuals, Interview with the Vampire has a rich, atmospheric aesthetic. The film is bathed in dark hues and lavish period costumes, which enhance the gothic and melancholic atmosphere. The use of lighting and shadow is effective in creating a sense of timelessness, and the movie's use of location, such as the decadence of New Orleans, further emphasizes the dark allure of the vampire world. Interview with the Vampire is notable for being one of the early films to bring Anne Rice's works to the screen, and it stands out as a vampire movie that is more philosophical than typical horror fare. The film focuses not just on blood-sucking and violence, but also on the emotional consequences of living forever. It's a tragic, beautifully shot film with an unforgettable cast and a timeless story.